On this show, we probe the issues and dig the solutions. There's a conversation going on in the country, and this afternoon we are going to be part of that conversation. The show is sponsored by Christian Service University. Christian Service University is located in Kumasi in the Ashanti region. My name is 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗘. I'll be right back to introduce the topic for our discussion. Stick and stay with me.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246 275375, 0240 154825, or 0244 596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi-Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known, that's
back. Let's quickly do W briefs. On W briefs, what we do is to give you an executive summary of the topic for discussion for the day. So today we are looking at closely is the fact that women in politics in Ghana, their participation is very low, both at the local level and national level. But this reflects the national or global trend of low participation of women in politics. In Ghana here, we have seen a progressive rise of women participation. In the 2012 elections, there were 29 women in parliament representing 11%. Then in 2016, we had 35 women representing 13%. 2020 election, we had 40 women in parliament, 20 apiece, 20 for the NDC, 20 for the NPP. The Affirmative Action Bill was passed on July 30, 2024, and this seeks to encourage progressive achievement of about 50% by the year 2030. Should we be content with the steady rise of women participation in politics? Just yesterday, the presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party, at his launch of his manifesto, mentioned particularly commitment number 8 of committing fully to the Affirmative Action Bill for women and girls. This afternoon on the state, we are going to look at women in politics. We will assess the successes, bottlenecks, and prospects for women in politics. I'll take a quick break. When I'm back, the discussion will begin. Stay with me. Welcome back from the break. And this afternoon, we are looking at women in politics. We will assess their performance, we will assess the successes, the bottlenecks, and look at prospects of women in politics vis-a-vis the passage of the Affirmative Action Bill and the commitment of the presidential hopeful of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, on implementing fully this bill. The show is sponsored by Christian Service University. Christian Service University is an evangelical liberal arts institution established 50 years ago to train men and women with ethical values for transformational leadership in Africa. Admission for 2024-2025 academic year is in progress for undergraduate and postgraduate programs. CSU offers dynamic academic and industry-driven programs in nursing, midwifery, business administration, communication, planning, and computer science. For more information, please contact the admission relations officers on 02462753755, 02401548525, or 02445966603, or visit our website on www.csuc.edu.gh. Choose CSU today to ensure the future of Africa. CSU, the University of Choice. We are joined on the line by a member of the Affirmative Action Bill Coalition to help us in the conversation on women's participation in politics. Madam 𝗟𝗓𝗓𝗓𝗓, you are welcome. If you could please unmute and then turn on your camera.
Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers and listeners.
Good afternoon, and we are happy to have you.
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, your preliminary...
I'm happy to be here too.
Yes, your preliminary comments first off. How did you take the... Let me take you back to July 30th, when the bill was finally passed. How did it come to you? How did you take it?
Thank you. I was in Parliament actually when the bill was passed. Before it was passed, I had been in the. I had been on the ground for more than almost a week before the bill was finally passed. And I was happy that I witnessed the passage of the bill on the floor of Parliament on the 30th July 2024. So we were excited. I was not alone. I had a team of women with me. And we celebrated the day because for the first time that having those kind of acts, we believe that it's a step in the right direction in ensuring gender equity in Ghana. And it's not just women who are going to benefit, it's going to benefit the entire society. So we were very happy about that. Thank you.
Great. So how long has it traveled, or how long has it taken you to get here?
In fact, the first draft was in 2011, so you can imagine it's taken us almost 30 years to actually get to where we are. And so for us, it's a long journey, but we haven't given up because at some of our spaces, some women expressed frustration and thought that it was actually not worth pushing, but eventually getting it passed means that it's not work in futility. At least all the hard work that others started and those who joined later and seeing it being passed means that it was worth waiting for all this while and not giving up the fight.
Very well said.
So we are really happy, and we hope that it's going to help make a great change.
Great. So congratulations, it's in order.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that means that we should be expecting the participation of women in our decision making in politics rise. The bill is looking at by 2030 it's rising from 30% to 50%. Have you started putting in place measures to realize this, especially as we approach the presidential and parliamentary elections in December?
Thank you very much. I think the last time I was on your TV, I indicated that the final act is not with us yet, because there were a number of provisions that were updated in the act. So there's cleaning up. We deleted some aspects and then inputted some items as well. So there was a press conference, I think a week ago, by the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, telling us where we are with the current act. It is not yet extended to because we have not finished with the cleaning up of the current act. Once that is done, it will be passed on to the president for his accent, and then full implementation of the bill will begin. And so as I speak, we don't have the full details yet. But of course, some of the things that are in the bill, as you rightly indicated, we are looking at equity or parity by 2030 as required by the Sustainable Development Goals. But we are saying that this kind of change should be progressive. We are not saying it should just happen overnight. And so we are looking at, say, 30% when we are given the opportunity to actually implement the bill. So by 2026, we should at least reach the 30% threshold. By 2028, we should get to 35, and hopefully by 2030, which is the requirement of the Sustainable Development Goals, we should reach 50-50. You know, that there should be parity at that level. And what it means is that when we reach 50-50, it doesn't mean that the intervention will continue. The intervention would stop until we realize that there is no balance. If the men are maybe now 70 and the women, 30 and the women are, say, 70, then there could be another intervention to take care of that difference. Because we are just looking at a situation where we'll have women in decision making equal to men in decision making as well. So 50-50. Other countries have done it. Sierra Leone has done it. They are almost reaching parity now. But they are also work in progress. And we believe that we could also get there with the support of everyone.
Great.
Thank you.
Rightly so. So as we await the presidential assent to this bill, I want to believe that I always want to premise a conversation on what is happening currently, and we know that it's a political season. We know the stakes are high now. So I want to believe that your coalition is closely monitoring the manifestos of the various, see what is seen to the realization of provisions in the bill if it becomes law.
The coalition has several actions that we are planning to implement. After the act has been passed, we haven't started yet. But of course, monitoring the manifestos of the different political parties has been one of interest, for the coalition. And so, not as a coalition's work, but as individual organizations, I know we are monitoring just to see what the individual party manifestos have for women, especially that we are interested in ensuring women's affairs, decision making in the country. We are actually also interested in finding out what the different political parties have as individual organizations. But for the coalition as a group, we are still having our action plans, and very soon we're going to start engaging the political parties as they roll out their manifestos.
Very well. So in this conversation, maybe at the tail end, we'll try to veer into the manifesto that has been freshly birthed, the one that has been born just yesterday in Takoradi. That is that of the New Patriotic Party. And then we'll see what is in it for women and girls, what is in it for gender parity, as you stated. But now let's look at women in politics in general in Ghana. What is the picture like? What is the status like as we speak currently?
Thank you very much. Currently, in Parliament, we have 275 parliamentarians. Out of this number, we have only 40 women in Parliament, which is just 14.1%, and you can just see that the number is too small, as far as women representation in politics is concerned. And I also know currently that we have only 44 women who are actually standing for elections. So what it means is that even if we vote for all these 44 women, if they all win their seats, we still will not reach 20%. Okay. And so the number is still challenging, and we feel that a lot more still has to be done to get more women into our political space. We have women in politics, but not at the decision-making level. And for now, we feel that it's important to put women at the decision-making spaces in our politics.
Great. So bringing women to the boardroom, bringing them to the table where decisions are taken. I guess and glean from your presentation that you are not so enthused about the 44 we have so far who are officially interested in going to. Why do you think we are not getting the women? What could be the barrier? Let's look at the barriers to active women participation.
Good. And I would say the manifestos of the political parties somehow do not really, deliberately put women in decision-making positions, okay? And that's one of them. We have the women who are capable, but our manifestos are not skewed towards putting or deliberately putting women in certain positions. And then we also know that our politics is monetized, and many women do not have that financial muscle to compete and to be able to put out themselves to be voted for. Then we also have the issue of perception about women who participate in or put out themselves to be elected in political positions. Because of the way they are taught, some women do not want to go public. And so that also affects the way women participate in, or just decide to give out themselves to be nominated for certain positions. So I think these are just some of the issues.
Great. So
even though I would say Electoral Commission has a concession for women. You know, women are given a concession. They don't pay the same amount that men pay when they are registering as candidates. But we still have a challenge, especially with the finances. Not all women who put out themselves are able to have that the enough money to be able to participate effectively in the campaigns and eventually get elected. So I think a lot has to be done if we really want to get women to put out themselves to be elected in leadership positions. We need to support them financially and also even work on their emotions to understand that we are with them and not rather tag them negatively when they want to participate in politics.
You mentioned the issue of monetization. So I understand that to be monetization of the political process. But is that not rather low income level of women? If they were earning more, if women were earning great salaries and they have other sources of income, they could have matched up. Is it not a matter of low income rather than the monetization of the process? Because if they had the income, they could also compete squarely.
Thank you very much. You can attest to the fact that most women who are even working, looking at the nature of our politics today, it requires a lot of money to be able to go through the registration, campaigning, and all that. It's so involving. And so much as there are women who are working and are earning some money, but as compared to the men, they are not able to compete equally. And so because of the challenge that we have, they need to be supported a lot to be able to participate equally with the men, especially when it comes to finances. They need a lot of support.
Great. Then another barrier, as I was gleaning from your presentation, is a low educational status. Is that something that you have confronted in your interaction and research amongst why women don't participate? The low status of education.
Low status of education. I think we have a lot of qualified women, in Ghana, who can actively and equally compete with men, well-educated women who, if they really want to put out themselves to be voted for, they are there and will be able to do so. And so for me, I don't see the level of education or qualification as a main issue. But of course, in terms of numbers, you know that in Ghana, much as the women have the largest population, but of course, we also have a large number of women who are not highly professionals, and so that can also be a barrier. And of course, it's because of the patriarchal system where many women initially didn't have the opportunity of developing themselves to the highest level until some interventions were created in our tertiary institutions to allow more women to get the opportunity of developing themselves in the tertiary institutions. So we still have some gap that needs to be worked on. But of course, if you are still looking for capable professional women who can put out themselves, barring the finances and knowing that they can get financial support, I think we'll have them. Yes.
You see, I'm smiling. I'm smiling because I'm a stern and strong advocate for women in positions. So wherever leadership role I've been given, if you want me to lead, I want my advice to be a woman or advise the woman. I have strongly. But why is it that sometimes the confidence is not there? The lack of confidence is also a barrier. Can you speak to that?
Yes. When you say lack of confidence, it's just the societal perception about how we perceive women who decide to participate in public spaces. Okay. You know, culturally, when a woman is assertive and tries to insist on certain things to be done right, when everybody sees that as the norm, you are tagged, okay? So some of these cultural and societal perceptions about how we tag women also make some women not want to put out themselves. Even sometimes family members would stop them, okay? For instance, if your sister puts out herself and they start castigating her, somehow I'm happy that you're an ally for us, you know, so maybe not you, but another man might say, no, the way this is going, please just back out, you know. So most often they will talk to you in the side room and say, we don't want this kind of public ridicule and all that, because sometimes they just lie, and very few women are able to stand some of these public ridicule. And so for some people, they don't have the strong will to will I say, push on, okay? And so sometimes they back out. But this is where we need to sensitize our women to understand that that is the game, okay? And so if you really want to be in that space and make sure you influence change, just be focused and understand what you are doing and pursue it to the latter. Okay, and I know that most men get back and congratulate women who are able to make it to the top, and you appreciate us. Yeah, sure. And so, for me, all I tell women is, once you want to participate and you understand what you are in for, pursue it to the latter. And we also need the men to continue to support us, because when a woman is actually pushing hard, then you know that she knows the husband is supporting her, the brother is supporting her, the father is supporting her, the husband is supporting her. You know, so when we know we have the allies, that also gives us that confidence to continue to push where we want to be. All the women who have gotten themselves into public spaces, majority of them have really delivered. And it is not always about the woman per se, it is about the welfare of society. And so the perception that once you put a woman there, you know, she's not going to deliver, I think it's something that we should nip in the bud, because women, capable women, when you put them in decision-making position or in public spaces, they deliver to the welfare of the entire society.
Great, exactly so. So viewers, if you are just joining us, we are discussing this afternoon the women in politics, and we are assessing the successes, the bottlenecks, and the prospects so far, and then joining in the conversation via phone or the online is 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗦𝗁𝗃 who is a member of the coalition for affirmative action, and rightly and strongly espousing the need for women to be at the decision-making table. And I think I support 100%. I think it is high time they get to, because they make fine leaders. They make fine leaders. So madam, if I will continue with you. I don't know, but there's a report that the member of parliament for Salaga South, Honorable 𝗧𝗵𝗲𝗘, I'm sure within your circles you know her strongly also for the affirmative action, but she's reported to have said that she believes that when women seek the consent of their husbands, they will do very well in the public space and in the private sector, the decision-making table. Do you agree, and how do you see this statement that you should seek consent of the men so that you excel in that portfolio?
No, I don't think she's. I mean, if I understand what she says, is just to ensure that whatever you are doing, it's something that both of you, support, because a woman, once you are married, you don't take decisions alone. Whatever decision that you take, it's with the consent of your husband. So I don't think she's trying to say that without your husband's support, don't do things for the benefits of women, if that is what you believe in. And I know every good man will support a wife who is fighting this kind of cause, because the man knows that whatever the woman is going to do, it will benefit not just she, the woman, or girls, but it's going to benefit he, the man, as well as the society as a whole. And so it is also motivating to know that if you if you take a decision to join the public space and your husband supports you, it's much easier. Because they are willing to empathize with you, move with you, and even support you financially. So I think it's not. Don't look at it in a negative light. No, I think that is just a way to say you need to agree, together before you come out to the public space, which is important.
I think she contextually she paid tribute, glowing tribute to the husband that at a point in time she had just delivered, and the man helped with the care for the baby and all that. So just like you are saying, not in a negative, but for the support for you to be able to deliver. Quickly, I want you to tell me, this is the time that granted women are the decision-making table. Pitch and let's see. Can you tell us the successes you have achieved in the political space so far? Somebody will say, I want you to brag now about the successes of the women in political space so far.
Thank you so much. We can all attest to the fact of the women that state parliament, the future space. If the answer is yes, I believe that when women are given the opportunity, they can influence that change that we all need. And I can see, from where I sit, especially just the gender minister, the honorable minister who even just pushed for this bill. When women make up their minds that they have a goal and they want it achieved, they work at it. When she assumed her post, Honorable 𝗟𝗑𝗩𝗑 and she knew that this was a bill that would benefit all women. Barring all challenges, she fronted for it. And on the floor of Parliament, you could see how she really worked hard to ensure that this bill was passed. Of course, she led it. And she was able to also negotiate with her colleagues. I wouldn't say it was that easy, but because she knew what it meant to get this bill passed into an act, she did all that she could and all that it took to ensure that she was able to negotiate for her colleagues to understand, and with the support we had from the Speaker to get this this bill passed into
right. I'll
so
take a
you
quick
could
break.
see
I'll take a quick
other
break.
Women in Parliament who also supported her.
Be back.
Okay, that's just one. If you go to other informal sectors, we have women, okay, who are in executive positions, and by their presence in their spaces, they have been able to influence a lot of change. Not just for themselves, but also for the entire society.
Okay.
And so for me, I believe in supporting women to be part of decision making, not only in the formal sector, but also in the informal sector.
But if you could hear me, if you could hear me, we will take a quick break, and I will be back to look at the successes of the women in politics so far. And
okay, thank you.
We'll look at it and then look at the prospects vis-a-vis some of the visions and principles so far. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
The Christian Service University, a fully chartered private university in Ghana, is inviting applications for admission. Undergraduate programs include BSc Nursing and Midwifery, Computer Science, Information Technology, Bachelor of Business Administration, BA Communication Studies, Planning and Social Development, and Theology with Administration. Postgraduate programs include MSc in Accounting and Finance, Monitoring and Evaluation, Corporate Planning and Governance. We have MA MPhil Communication Studies, MA Christian Ministry with Management, Event Management, MPhil English and Mathematics Education. With quality, faculty and state-of-the-art facilities, we blend academic work with entrepreneurial mindset in all our programs. For more information, please call 0246-275375, 0240-154825, or 0244-596603, or visit our website www.csuc.edu.gh. CSU is located at Odenaho Kwadaso on the Kumasi-Obuasi Road, 100 meters off Star Junction. Choose CSU today to secure the future of Africa.
And to make him better known. That's
Nyansa, it's Jan and Peninano, and I Jan and Peninano. To baby Biara and Penifuashia. Na yesaya dwene no ne open nyansa no oben wa ode agudie kira dwene mu agudie ene kofie enu yesaya dwene nsemu mu odo nsempolo nsemu a yetie bobra ekoyie frase efifrito ne open nyansa no omenkwankwa enu yase ne mpani so ayadwene ne be yinhira ama no ene ne nchirima yada mo ase
Ja impenyin inso ayadwene jemre na hweye memninde ne memninde bia anopa no wotwe wo Wesleyan television so.
On the stage this afternoon, we are looking at women in politics. We are assessing the successes, the bottlenecks, and the prospects. And a member of the Affirmative Action Bill Coalition, now has been helping with conversation, very interesting angles and very interesting perspectives so far. Madam, we'll break. And if you conclude on some of the successes of women in politics as you were enumerating, if you conclude on that.
Okay, so women's participation in politics and their full representation in public leadership roles are imperative, for the effective functioning of democratic systems and the fulfillment of sustainable development. So it is important, actually, to ensure that we have women in most of these public spaces, because it will help the entire society. It is always good to have the other side of the gender, to contribute in decision making when you are in the boardrooms. So it's very important that we include women, in these spaces.
In these spaces, great.
Thank you.
I just want to take you to the campaign platform, because yesterday a document, manifesto, and we know manifestos are documents that outline the political parties' visions and principles and commitments. So certain commitments were made. I told you about the station's commitment to gender parity. So we were looking at the document closely, and we want to zero in on the part that mentions something about affirmative action, and rightly so in the manifesto. The highlights as presented by Dr. 𝗬𝗓𝗓𝗓 yesterday in Takoradi. The commitment number 8 says that implement affirmative action for women and girls. And the first point after this headline was that implement in full the Affirmative Action Act we currently enacted. Yes. So he said, I was enthused by the description there. He said implement in full. One interesting thing is the bullet A, where he says that, B, he says that enabling mothers to seamlessly re-enter the workforce by prioritizing in partnership with the private sector the establishment of daycare centers near workplaces, including marketplaces. Do you trust this? Do you trust this commitment, and how relevant is it?
All right, thank you very much. Honestly, I heard that aspect of it, and I was really happy to hear that they were prepared. In their manifesto, they highlighted the fact that they would be happy to implement the act to the latter, which is good. Okay. Yes. What it means is that this act has a portion of it that says that before it can even be implemented, a committee has to be set up, and that committee must sit at the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection, and that committee should be made up of multifaceted, stakeholders who would ensure the implementation of the act. Now, back to your the issue of establishing, integrating mothers at workplaces and making provisions for those who are nursing mothers and all that. It's part of the act to ensure that policies are developed, at our workplaces that would make work for women much easier and also make them function effectively. I know some organizations have already started. This is not the first time, because I know one NGO already has similar facilities provided for the staff. And so if you were a nursing mother and then you have to take your baby to the worksite, there is a space, created at the workplace where can the caretaker can take your child to. In some institutions there are daycares in those facilities where the parents can leave their children and go to work with no stress, because they know that their children are safe and they can always go during break to feed them and get back off at work. I think this is what we need to address, because part of the challenges women have when they are recruited in some institutions is that, especially, it's not our make, it's not our making, but naturally by our make, at certain time in your life, you may need to break, you may need to step aside because of your physiological changes. You might get pregnant at some point. Of course, you give birth, you need to nurse your baby. And of course, looking at the nature of our holidays, or the leave, the baby, you will leave your baby, let's say after 3 months, and then you still have to go to work. And depending on where you stay and where you work, you cannot be commuting between home and then, just to make sure your baby is fed. So some of these institutions, or in the act, we are saying that in some institutions where provisions can be made, whereby nursing mothers can maybe have spaces to even feed their babies when they have to do so with less stress and also with dignity. So such institutions or organizations should make sure they create those spaces. And then policies should also be deliberately developed, that can also make the woman or even the man, work effectively, okay? So these policies are supposed to ensure that there is efficiency at work, there is productivity, and then none it's discriminated against, and also none does not feel dehumanized or not being taken care of as far as the workspace is concerned.
So do we
basically
foresee
policies have to be developed? To suit both genders, to ensure that there is efficiency, there is productivity, and then we live happily and in dignity.
So we can picture a situation where if a member of parliament has just delivered a baby, there will be a daycare center at Parliament House, at the ministries to take care of, so that women can actively play their role. We see that picture. Do you see that picture too in Parliament at the Flagstaff House?
We are not, when you say daycare, it doesn't mean that you keep doxing daycare centers in all institutions, okay? It could even be just a central daycare center within a particular enclave where more than 3-4 institutions can benefit, okay? Looking at the proximity to the workplace, okay? So it doesn't mean that every institution should have a daycare center because somebody will get pregnant, somebody will have a baby. No. I don't think this is what we are saying. What the act is saying. But we are saying that develop policies that will benefit, a particular gender if there is something that they need that will make them function more effectively.
That's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's great. So the last leg of the commitment, the last leg of the commitment number 8, which is the C, says that enforcing existing regulation on maternity leave governance. Maybe that will be the last one I will touch on, as it's linked to maternity leave governance. They have committed to ensuring that the regulations are enforced. Are you enthused about that in the document?
Oh, of course. I mean, at some point, we're even asking for paternity leave as well, so that the men can support the women when they give birth, at least for some time at home. So if they want to enforce that, we just have 3 months maternity leave. They could even make it 6 months, so that at least by the time the woman will get back, in some parts of the world, it's even 1 year, okay? So, and whilst you're on leave, of course, it's full pay, okay? Yeah, so for me, that's it's a step in the right direction. We should start from somewhere. Okay.
Great.
Yes.
Quickly.
Thank you.
So let's look at the prospects. Let's look at the prospects going forward. How do we want to see women in politics?
Sorry?
Yeah, I was asking that. Let's look at the prospects. How do we want to see women in politics in Ghana? What are the things that we need to do to ensure that we attain the steady achievement of gender parity at the policy or decision-making level?
Thank you very much. 1, women need to educate themselves. Grab all the opportunities that are available for them to improve themselves. I know there are no barriers as far as our educational system is concerned, but some institutions can still deliberately and intentionally create policies that would encourage more women to get into higher education and professions as much as possible, because it is also important that whoever wants to take up a leadership position should be able to communicate, effectively at all levels. So it is important we educate ourselves. Sometimes some of the men, I have heard comments like, we have even given you the opportunity. For instance, if there's even quota system, we go to some communities or some regions and we don't find the women, okay? So to ensure that we always have the women to fill those spaces, we need to educate ourselves, up to the highest level that we think we can go, that will make us very effective and functional, so that others do not think that we are not capable of participating effectively. That's one. And so women should grab all opportunities that are available to them to improve themselves. Okay. Then 2, we also need the men to support the women. Okay. Of course, culturally, we have operated the patriarchal system for a very long time. And by our socialization, it's not through our own fault, but that is how you were nurtured. Okay, and so by our socialization, we still need the encouragement from you, the men. Okay, to for us to know that you are supporting us, you are with us. Okay, because that also boosts our morale in terms of forging ahead. Okay. And then, of course,
that will be the last one. Yes, I'll take the last one.
Sorry?
Yeah, I said I'll take that as the last one. Then we need to sign off. Yes.
Yes, of course, culturally, how women are perceived. We should know
change it.
That once we should not let those public statements make us sit back.
Okay?
Once you are assertive and you are heading for something positive, you should know that there will always be a pushback.
You go for it. Thank you very much, Madam Bernice of the Affirmative Action Coalition Bill. We are grateful, and viewers, thank you for being with us. It's time to go. We trust that we have been able to help you to appreciate and understand the conversation. Madam Na has helped us with the conversation. Let the conversation continue going on. Make sure you are well rested, and we do not take your patronage for granted. We are back on Wednesday for the conversation to continue. Stay safe. Goodbye.
Thank you.